Hey, what's up, fellow anglers? Aaron Lesieur here, and it's Freebie Friday. And this week I got a couple things for you. Number one, got a short little video from this past weekend. Tricia and I went out to Camanche for a few hours. Got out there on the boat, got some fish catches, got some waypoints like usual. Make sure you watch the video all the way to the end because I'll be announcing the winner that gets to go fish with me out on the Delta and the 4 winners of the Demiki Depop. Okay, so check out this video from Camanche Lake from this past Sunday.
Over me, 'cause I'ma let you out, I'ma let you in. You're my enemy. If you would let me go, I would let you in. So cover me, 'cause I'ma let you out, I'ma let you in. You're my enemy. If you would let me go, I will let you in. Drinking forever, you turn down light, thinking you never feel my fright. Got your remedy, 'cause I'ma let you out, I'ma let you
in. Hey, what's up, fellow anglers? It's Aaron Lesieur here, and I've got my cute co-host Tricia with me and a couple little 4-legged co-hosts. Peanut's over there. You'll see her later in the video. And we got Lucky right here. We're out at Camanche Lake. I haven't been here for a while since the water's been way up, so I thought I'd come out here, see if we could catch some fish, get some waypoints down for you. We're gonna try a little top water this morning. I'm not out here as early as I would like to be. So hopefully there's still a little bit of topwater action. We're going kind of up north Camanche, up the river a little bit, and then see what's going on. And then we're gonna head back out to the main lake. Depending on how crazy it is out there with the boaters, we might hit some of the humps, but we may have to stay up here depending on the boat traffic. So we're gonna get out and fish, hopefully put some fish catches on video, get you some waypoints and some tactics out here on the lake. Let's go fishing. Oh, got him. Came up and crushed it. Oh, dang it. I don't want to hook her in the face. She's right there.
She's in your way.
It's all right. It was about a 2-pound largie. Oh, man. Look at that little thing, that little piece of rock or... Oh, you got it. You got him.
I got a fish. I got one.
Oh, it's a good one. Make sure you keep him down, too.
I got you a fish. Stay down.
Okay. Nice one. Okay, bring it right here. It's barely hooked. Right here, right here. Oh, shoot. We keep losing them. Peanut.
Dang it.
Little goofball. Okay, well, you got bit.
What did I do wrong?
Nothing. It was just barely hooked on the tail, and so I knew that was going to be tough to get that one in.
Oh.
Let me give you the update on what's been going on. We've been hopping from a couple different points, looking for ledges, looking for submerged humps, just some high percentage areas since I had not been out here for a long time. Just trying to find a pattern on what these fish are doing. So we found a submerged island that the depth is only about 5 or 6 feet for a long distance in between here. And I'll show you guys on the map. I'll drop a waypoint. And then we've had a couple largemouth come and eat our topwater baits. It's 10 o'clock, so they're still eating the topwater out here, and they've all come unbuttoned, barely hooked on the rear end of the treble hook. And so we haven't been able to get to put any in the boat. But we're getting bit over here on this spot. So what we're doing is we're basically just going across this big flat that's over here, and we're fan casting. Just covering water, because this has been so far the most consistent bite. We've been trying some a Ned rig and some other baits that are on the bottom. A couple little bites, but no, we haven't hooked up anything. So we're gonna keep kind of working around these little shallow island tops, work this little cove here, and see if we can't get more bites this way. We're throwing the Whopper ploppers. I got the 130, Tricia's got the 110, and we're throwing them in the bluegill pattern. The water's super clear out here. You got at least 3 to 4 feet of visibility on this thing, or on this lake. So going with a little bit more natural looking bait to see if we can't get those fish to come up and eat it. Oh man, there's another little island out there. We got to keep going.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, it's way out there. We're gonna have to throw the ploppers out there too. We'll have to fish this whole flat. Those fish could be. Got one.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Oh shit!
God.
That was a giant.
It was huge.
Oh my gosh, you see how big that was? No, it came off.
Oh.
Shit, that was a 5-pounder.
That was a big fish.
No! So after I lost that 5-pounder, we ended up hopping around on some other high percentage areas, including long points, underwater humps, some rock piles, and I kept seeing bass in about the 15-foot zone on my Lowrance unit. So I ended up getting out the AquaView and taking a look under the water, and there were tons of schools of bass on these points, but we just couldn't get them to eat anything that we were throwing. If I was to go back out there again, I would bring an A-rig and a spinner bait and maybe a small swim bait to see if I could get some of these suspended bass to eat, because they just weren't eating anything off the bottom. We were throwing a drop shot, a Ned rig, and a nail-weighted Senko. So we're wrapping it up. It's about 2 o'clock. The winds picked up. It actually turned out to be a pretty nice day. It was hot this morning, and then the wind picked up and it cooled it off, but the bite has not been hot. We tried all kinds of high percentage areas. We went to coves, we went to points, we went to rocky points, we did rock piles, we went to steep banks. Everything I could think of for the summer bite. We got a few little nibbles here and there, a couple dinks, and then the island that you saw previously is where the main 3 bites, substantial bites we had gotten, and that was pretty much it. We went out to the main lake and it's pretty much unfishable right now because of the wind and so much boat traffic. You can't even find a place out there to fish unless you go hide in a cove. So just got the one spot for you this time. I'm gonna get back out here again at some point and try to put something else together when the bite starts to get better. You just never know. It could get better tomorrow. It could get better next week. Summer's starting to come to a close, so maybe the fall bite will kick things off out here. So we got to take the dogs back. They're hot. We're tired. It was been fun just to get out here on the water. We're actually up here in the northern part of the lake where the river is, where the 20-mile-an-hour zone is, so you don't get as much boat traffic. And then we went past the 5-mile-an-hour, past the bridge, just for a little bit. Caught a couple dinks up there as well. So I'll show you what the baits we caught them on. It was a Whopper plopper, and I caught that big one, or I had that big one come off on a Fluke. And so let's talk about rigging. I'll show you those baits right now. Okay, let's talk some rigging. And the rods that we used, that we had hooked up those fish but never got any in the boat. A couple shook off right at the boat themselves, and then I had that big one come off just shortly after I hooked it. We got the Whopper ploppers. We basically were throwing these on those island tops. You've seen these before, nothing new. I was throwing the silent version, the 130. This is the bluegill pattern. There it is, Whopper plopper 130 bluegill. It's on 65-pound braid. No special rigging on this, just a Palomar knot. It's on the Dobbins 734 CSH. You've seen this rod before. I use this as my backup rod for my Whopper plopper when I'm not throwing a chatterbait, because right now the chatterbait's on my other rod that I like to use for this specific bait. Again, Abu Garcia Revo STX, 65-pound Power Pro braid. Tricia was throwing the new Silent 110 Whopper plopper, also bluegill pattern right there. Had this one set up on a Dobbins 706 CB with 20-pound braid. Power Pro again, Revo STX 6-4-1. Now on these baits right here, all we were basically doing was just fan casting them over that island top that we got those bites on. If I was gonna go back out there again, there are a couple more submerged islands up there, and I would definitely throw these in the earlier morning when there wasn't as much boat traffic and the water was a little more calm. I would spend some more time throwing these across those island tops and then searching anywhere else, maybe on the main lake, for anything that was very similar to that, since we did get a couple really good bites on that island top. And then I caught that 5-pounder. Well, didn't really weigh it, but it was a big fish. It looked like it was 5, who knows? I could have been exaggerating, whatever. It was big. I was using a Zoom Fluke. And this is just a shad pattern, and I was experimenting with this bait a little bit. Tricia was throwing the Ned rig, and I wanted to throw something a little bit different than that. And this is just a Zoom Fluke, and I've got a nail weight in there. It's a 1/8 ounce, and this hook is the Gamakatsu 4 round bend. It's the wacky hook, but I wasn't throwing this hook when I lost that fish. I had a smaller one on there, and I think that's why I lost that fish. And I basically just had hooked it like you would a nail weighted Nico rig right there. So when the fish grabs it, they're going to get that point first. And 15-pound P-line fluoro leader. It's about 3 feet long. Let me show you one quick thing on this bait. And let's talk. Actually, I'll show you the rod first. This is the Dobyns 704 SF. It's the spinning rod with the Abu Garcia Revo SX. You guys have seen this setup before. I use it a lot for my worming setups. The thing I wanted to show you on this Fluke is I don't use glue to help keep that in there. These nail weights are ribbed and have the point on them, so it helps keep the bait in there. But I also do this with my Senkos and anything else I'm going to stick a nail weight in, because sometimes I want that little weight to stick out and make clacking noises on rocks. I just basically take an aim flame. This is the torch style, so it doesn't get blown around in the wind as much. And it is easier to direct and heat up this little ball on the end faster. Now, it was a little bit windy out there, so what I did was I lifted up my deck, or the compartment with my tackle, and I got behind that deck portion of it there, front, and blocked it from the wind, and I was able to get this melted right there on the tip there. So I just kind of melt it so the plastic goes right around that nail weight, and that helps it stay in there a little bit longer. So when I'm casting it, it doesn't go flying out, or if I actually have a fish on and it's going or flopping around, it doesn't come out as easy. So it's in there pretty good. So it lasts a lot longer. That's a good tip on that. I was just throwing this out there, letting it fall, and then kind of bouncing it back towards the boat. That big fish had actually caught it on the fall. So I never got any other bites on this hopping it around, because you see in the video that a lot of those fish were suspended. So they weren't really eating our bottom baits out there. Again, I want to get back out there and throw something else that is going to get those suspended fish. So those are the baits and the setups we used out there at Camanche. I'd like to get back out there and try something a little bit different on those long points that you saw us fishing in the video, to see if maybe I could put together a better pattern out there now that I've had a chance to kind of see what those fish were doing. So I want to thank everybody who participated in the contest. I enjoyed reading all the comments. It seemed like there was a pretty common theme on there. You guys want to learn how to better understand fishing a tidal fishery. And the techniques were pretty common, punching, frogging, some top water on there. So my plan is to get out there. We're going to fish Frank's track, break down that area, break down some techniques, break down how the tides work. I'm going to try to do a whole video on just how to fish a tidal fishery, how the fish position themselves, how the tides work, tactics on how to fish the different tides, and even running the tides. So stay tuned for that. So let's get to it. Here are the winners of the Freebie Friday contest. You've got your angler that's going to be going and fishing with me right here, and then the rest of the viewers who are going to win that Demiki Depop 70. Now make sure, if you're the winners of the Depops, you message me on Facebook, send me your address so I can get those out to you. And the winner that gets to go fishing with me, make sure you message me your phone number so we can set that up and get that on the calendar and figure out when we're going to get out there. So again, make sure you hit the like button, comment on the video, subscribe if you already don't. I'm Aaron Lesieur. Stay focused, fish hard, and I'll see you out on the water.
Party time. Go a little bit farther. Put my gun into it.
You do need to put your guns into it.
I got me a fish. Please tell me it's a fish.
That's awesome.
It's not. Again?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. That's hysterical.
Oh yeah. It let go. I lost it. I had him.
You did have him.